Reproductive technology, balancing autonomy and control. An introduction to reproductive technologies. Reproductive technologies are medical and scientific advancements that have created a method for infertile women to conceive children through various methods, and they have also created a method for women to terminate their unwanted pregnancies or to sterilize themselves. As these technologies continue to evolve, they raise important questions about ethics, society, and the law. The development of these technologies such as IVF, surrogacy, abortion, and sterilization have allowed women to have more options over their own autonomy. However, these technologies have also created a method of control that people can use over women's bodies. This presentation will explore how these reproductive technologies both support and challenge women's autonomy in today's political and cultural landscape. Types of reproductive technology. The first type that I will be discussing is IVF, or in vitro fertilization. This procedure works by extracting a woman's egg and then adding a man's sperm to this extracted egg to fertilize it. The fertilized egg is then reinserted into the woman's body. IVF also makes surrogacy possible, which allows women who cannot carry a pregnancy to place their fertilized egg into another woman. IVF provides the possibility to have children to those who are infertile. However, it is incredibly expensive and the availability of IVF is very limited. Current issues regarding IVF. While IVF has created a new method for people to have children, the high costs of the treatment make it largely inaccessible. IVF has also been controversial recently. In Alabama, the Alabama Supreme Court declared that embryos created through in vitro fertilization should be considered children. This declaration put a stop to IVF all over the state, which restricts many people's ability to have a family. While Alabama has put a stop to IVF, the recently re-elected president, Donald Trump, recently advocated for government funding of IVF, stating that making fertility treatments more affordable would support family growth. Trump's statements in support of IVF stand in contrast to conservative states' views, and this divide leads us to question the type of reproductive policies that will be developed if the country cannot agree on whether this reproductive technology is right or wrong. It also leads us to question how these policies will affect women's autonomy and why the government can control reproductive policies based on people in position of power's personal opinions. Types of reproductive technologies. Sterilization. Sterilization is the process of blocking or removing the fallopian tubes to remove pregnancy permanently. Sterilization can empower individuals with permanent control over reproduction, but it can also be used as a political tool of control. Throughout history, forced sterilization was done on certain populations as a form of controlling them. Past issues regarding sterilization. In forced sterilizations of indigenous women by Winter Rabbit, she brings to light how sterilization was used as a political means of control over indigenous women, and their ability to control their reproductive system was stolen from them. She states that at least 3 indigenous generations from 3,406 women are not in existence now as a result. Sterilization can be incredibly dangerous when it is used as a political tool to control certain populations rather than as a tool for people to gain control over their autonomy. Current issues regarding sterilization. In today's world, women have limited control over their reproductive rights, which has led to many women wanting to be sterilized due to the limits on abortion. The right to sterilization has also become a source of controversy, and many doctors today refuse to perform sterilization on women that they believe are too young, do not have enough children yet, or if they simply believe that the woman will regret her decision. According to the National Institute of Health, 31 to 48% of women were denied sterilization. Doctors refusing to sterilize a woman once again shows how a reproductive technology can be used as a method of control. It also shows that women are not believed to be capable of making decisions regarding their own bodies. There are no laws requiring doctors to perform this service, which means that women struggle to find a doctor who is willing to do it. Sterilization was more common when it was forced upon marginalized groups rather than when it is sought out by women. Types of reproductive technologies. Abortion. Abortion is the process of terminating a pregnancy by removing the fetus from a woman's body. This procedure can be done surgically or by taking abortion pills that will cause a woman to expel the fetus. Abortion dates back to around 1550 BC, making it one of the oldest reproductive technologies to ever exist. It is also the most controversial reproductive technology due to people having conflicting opinions about whether or not a fetus is considered a human being. Past issues regarding abortion. In the past, abortion has been a highly controversial and restricted procedure that has often been influenced by social, religious, and political pressures that encourage the limitation of women's autonomy. Before the 1973 Roe v. Wade Supreme Court decision that declared that states could not restrict abortion access for women, abortion was illegal throughout the country, and women were not allowed to make decisions regarding their own bodies. The restrictions on abortion led women, especially women of color, to pursue unsafe and illegal abortions out of desperation. In Racism, Birth Control, and Reproductive Rights by Angela Davis, she states, Black and Latino women resort to abortions in such large numbers, the stories they tell are not so much about their desire to be free of their pregnancy, but rather about the miserable social conditions which dissuade them from bringing new lives into the world. These women did what they believed was right, and their decision often led to their death because they could only access unsafe, illegal abortions. At this time, many white women were able to travel out of the country to receive safe abortions. The difference between women of color and white women's access to abortion during this time is an example of how reproductive technology can be a method of controlling certain marginalized groups. Current issues regarding abortion. In 1973, the Supreme Court established the constitutional right to abortion access nationwide, which allowed women to access safe abortions at any time with no limitations. After 50 years of abortion rights being protected in the United States, this ruling was overturned in 2022, and states were given the power to decide whether to ban, allow, or limit abortions. The government of the United States has decided that women do not deserve to control their own bodies, and they have made women's autonomy a political issue rather than a personal one for women. The overturning of Roe v. Wade has been a goal of the pro-life community for decades, and it happened in 2022. Many people have misrepresentations of abortion, and this largely contributes to their support of taking away abortion rights from women. In Fetal Images, The Power of Visual Culture in the Politics of Reproduction by Rosalind Pollack-Pachetsky, she discusses how anti-abortionists misrepresent the process of abortion by dramatizing it and referring to the fetus as a victim and referring to the woman having an abortion as evil. In this text, Pachetsky discusses how a movie showing what people were told was the process of abortion, titled The Silent Scream, showed people a completely false representation of abortion. This movie claimed to show a 12-week-old fetus being aborted and claimed the fetus rears back its head in a silent scream as it is being aborted. This is completely false, as a 12-week-old fetus is not developed enough to feel pain or exhibit any emotions. The false representations of abortion seen in this movie is used by pro-lifers to guilt and manipulate people into believing that abortion is cruel and that it is murder. The 2022 decision of the Supreme Court to take away the constitutional right to abortion has stripped women of their own autonomy due to people's personal beliefs regarding whether abortion is acceptable or if it is considered murder. The overturn of Roe v. Wade sparked intense reactions across the United States, and protests erupted in every state nationwide. People, especially women, felt robbed of the control over their own body, and they were angry that the government now has control over their bodies and what they choose to do with them. While many people were upset over this decision, there were many anti-abortionists that celebrated this decision and celebrated that women no longer had control over their own bodies. The following clip shows abortion protests in the United States in the month of November 2024.
Stand up for democracy. We have to stand up for a woman's right to have control over her body, control over her life. Women's rights are human rights.
America first and first. Fuck your party.
Are you kidding me?
Right up the ass. Abortion harms women.
You should not bring a child here. I don't care where you
Since 2016, we've been telling folks that this is the most consequential election of your lifetime, and each year it's been true, whether it's 2018, 2020, 2022. And more than ever in 2024, we are voting on freedom or fascism, and there's really no middle ground. And so this is, it's a fight for our life. It's the fight for our future, our freedom, our family, and everything that we love is on the line. So it is critical that we all turn out and we all vote.
My body, my choice. My body, my choice.
How is it?
My body, my choice. My body,
It's
my
not your body, but that's not
In conclusion, reproductive technologies have a long and complicated history that must be understood to prevent past mistakes from reoccurring. There is no doubt that these technologies provide a new world of opportunity. However, being aware of the danger associated with these technologies and the control they can allow others to have over women's bodies is incredibly important to ensure these technologies are being used to support women's rights to control their own autonomy.